in understanding something which we never understood, but we emphasize again and again on it for you to understand. In a dimension of the physicality of the man, we know in a dimension of physicality of the man, man has no physical dimension if there is not an environmental field, which means we have no dimension, if there was no magnetical gravitational field of the earth around us. If we move to another dimension, if we move to another position, and the environment changes, we'll find out that us as man will not exist. This is a very nice trick. But what will be interesting for most of us is if we change the field, the environmental field, do we become invisible? In the field dimension of the man, on earth, we have a physicality. When we change the fields, we disappear. What kind of new creatures would be us manifesting ourselves at? Is the possibility of a line of life changes? Or do we still have that possibility, that what I call having the soul inside it? Having the soul that can bring the dimension of physicality to the soul of physicality in a new condition of life. In a way, if we change, if we bring a new condition, a new environment, how would we look? Would we trust to be able to go back to our original colors and conditions and life as a man? Would we think as a man in a dimension, or would we think as a new creature, new understanding according to the environment we manifest ourselves? The truth about all this is that have we understood that we have a nuclear bomb with massive radiation capabilities, that is a cosmic rays, sits within the center of the body of the man. We call it the soul of the man. It is more energetic, it's more powerful in strength than the whole of the physicality put together. Body of the man is made of billions and billions of cells, and each cell itself has an energy to maintain its position and the condition of life. So the body of the man physically is a energy packs times billions, trillions. And that energy in the dynamic motion transfer of the fields to what we call its blood creates a cage to hold this in. One energy pack encaging another. But there is an interconnection between these two that allows one to be embedded inside the other. In a way, if you look at it in a bigger scale, you have your physical dimension outside from the interaction of these two. It's very much like gravity and magnetical field. In their interaction, we create the mass. Physicality. There is no difference if you call the soul of physicality magnetical field and the soul of the man the gravitational field, with the capability that one can change position with the other. Through an interconnection, through an interline power level, what we call common denominator, they can switch from one to another. Then this switch will decide in interaction with the environment how you manifest yourself at a point and a place. You switch the fields to the dimension of physicality, what do we have? We are going to have an amazing condition where what we call the dimension of the interaction, dimension of the position and the position of the fields can create the different dimension of physicality of the man in the same environment. What it means, you can change slightly the emotion, the dimension, and the direction. And then in that process, you can turn from being a white man to a black man. Because the environment of the earth has not changed. Is the field emotion of the place you live with allows you to do the transmutation. You look like Chinese, you speak Chinese, you understand the emotion of the Chinese language. Because now you kept within the gravitational magnetic field of the planet Earth. Is the inertia and a position in respect to the center and a condition of the fields of the inertia created, which gives you that environment. Don't forget, when you enter a new environment, let's say from England you go to China, the soul of the Chinese dictates part of that inertia. The soul of emotion of the nation, culture, language, dictates that part of inertia. That's why you manifest yourself if you decide as a Chinese and understand the whole lot. Then the language and the dictionaries are not needed, because now you don't need to press this and it gives you the meaning but not the emotion of. Now when you speak, you understand your soul has the emotion of the feeling of the word too. Now you decide to change the gravitational field of the earth to the moon. Now you manifest yourself in that position in the moon as a man of the moon. Is there a life on the moon? Is the collective life and interaction of your soul with it teaches you how to communicate, how to exist? Or you create a new dimension that the interaction of the emotion of the soul of the man and the soul of his guardian man translates that to the existence on that planet. You learn the language, you learn the feature, not out of transmutation, but by the collection of the interaction of the fields of the environment, of the soul of the people, entities who live in that environment. They transfer the energy, they transfer the knowledge to you as much as you transfer to them. It's not only the transmutation by the physical dimension, is interaction of the soul of the man in transmutation that interacts with the soul of the citizens of that environment, that allows you to be part of, to be understood, and to live like them.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 539th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I will be host once again in this weekly series of workshops that's been ongoing for over 10 years now. And once again, we have the pleasure and honor of Mr. Mehran Keshe being with us, and I believe he's with us. I'm not quite sure yet because he was on the road for a while. Mr. Keshe, are you there and available, or do you need a couple of more minutes?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you. As usual, whenever and wherever you listen, this is a Knowledge Seekers from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. We welcome you back as no one, as unusual. Today, as a matter of respect and honor to His Excellency, President Raisi passing in an accident in the past few days, I would like to ask, as a United Nations non-harm mask, that we give a minute of silence for one of the most dynamic and prolific world leaders which passed by accident in the past few days. If we observe a minute of silence in honor of one of the world leaders, it will be appropriate and appreciated.
Did you say 2 minutes, Mr. Keshe, or?
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for that minute of silence. You can go ahead now, Mr. Kesh.
Thank you very much. In listening to the intro and understanding that what we have, what we actually be done through the knowledge we gain, there is another dynamic condition in the world of the man, which is within the man and is part of the structure of the living man, which in a way the world of science has, as usual we say, never understood, never acted upon, and at the same time the what we call humanity has never grasped the totality of the understanding of this principle of life. In the world of medicine, in the world of science of body of the man, we have come up with different names for it, but this is part of the connection of the physicality of the body of the man to cosmic rays, to essence of the foundation of the reality of the creation of the man. What does this mean? In we say we tap into by taking some food as a seed to absorb energy for the physical dimension through the what we call environmental energies, cosmic rays, earth rays, and the rest. But for the soul of the man, for the central energy of the man, and the body which is embedded in it, in the center of it, the work of the physicality comes to be a different way, which man has not understood. Man has never understood the reality about his own creation, how he's created, how he uses the cosmic rays in the dimension of the soul of the man. Through conversion with the soul of physicality, which we're calling emotion, to lead to the creation of the man, reaction, interaction of the man with his environment. In the world of medicine, we call it psychosomatic, psychological and the physical, where the two comes from, and where one leads to the problem or creation of the other. But the world of science has never understood to explain this, because if you, as knowledge seekers, understand this, you have broken through the position to be able to be part of the universal community, interact with the emotion of the universal community, interact with the emotion of the physicality of the man yourself, in how to manifest yourself, how to actually come to, in a way, be manifested, create within you. As I said to one of the knowledge seekers in one of the recent talks, that God says, I made man in the image of myself. But in a way, we create our children in image of ourselves. And we see how we suffer from the hand or take joy from the hand or a conduct of our children. We are the creator of these children. And in that process, we become the creator. And we made our children in image of ourselves. Which means we suffer with them, with their misconducts, enjoy with them in their success. So it's the same with the creator. He suffers with man, with his conduct, and he enjoys and rejoices when the man achieves understanding the process of the creation within himself. And this is where we need to understand how our emotion is connected to the Creator. And what does it lead to? Why do we get a cancer? How each organ and the cell is built to be. How we manifest ourselves in different shape and formats through our emotion. We get angry, we change our face, we get joyful, we laugh with a sound, and then how come emotion can show itself in a burst, but that emotion which was in a hidden, in the background, in the structure of the brain of the man, does not or has no effect on the physicality of the man. But we call it psychosomatic. But part of the energy which psychologically we absorb from the brain, psychologically we absorb from the universe, is through carbon-14, is through cosmic rays. So we see that cosmic rays have a direct effect in the interaction with our emotion in the structure of our body, through the emotion of the soul, through the emotion of the soul of physicality. But what the scientists have not understood, what our people talk about, but they have no essence of understanding, is that where and how does this process of psychosomatic work? Psychologically, the emotion would brings us to that point. But where does the what we call the physical dimension comes into it? How do they interact to lead to the creation of us? What does this mean? If we take the brain of the man in a very simple way, every time we want this pen, the pen gives up on us. Let's see if it decides to work this time. Nope. Does not want to collaborate today. I wish I could do this. Unfortunately, knowledge seekers, God does not want you to learn about this.
Didn't we do something last time to kick that in?
I
what
don't
was it?
know. It's his. This system is as temperamental as a baby. Let me see if I can bring it in another shape. In the whiteboard. Collaborating, no, presenting. Okay. Let's see if it's going to create that we can work with it. Yes, something's happening here. So this pen gets sorted at age 100 years. Okay, let's see what we do. Nope, it doesn't want to give me access to the pen. Oh, sometimes it does. Sorry about this. This is new technology. Okay, I use the hand, then a pen, then we understand. Sorry about this. The more advanced systems we use, the worse we get. So what is important for us to understand is that where our life, physical life, comes out of our emotions. And how does it work? Because if you understand this part, in a very easy way, you as knowledge seekers will be able to control the transmutation. Even a combination of transmutation and transportation. What we talk about is very simple. This is the two-half brain of the man. Sorry about this. There's no pen. This is the finger of me. And this is your soul in the middle. And this is your body in two halves, left and right. The neurosystem, find the colors, God help me there, yeah. The neurosystem in the brain operates in some positions. And these neurosystems on the left side of the body of the man controls the right side, and vice versa, the right side to the left side. The connection through the nerve system is a matter state, which is somatic, comes from symmetry of the body of the man. But this connections here through everything else goes to every nerve, every system of the body of the man. We show different colors for different sides, and we see what happens. But this is a physical connection. And the magic with the creation is the emotion has no neural connection, is a field, is an interaction of the soul of the man and the soul of physicality, which comes through the blood. So it has, in reality, no physical connection with the left side. It creates a field on the, what we call the right side of the body of the man, which is here and here. The neurosystem, the physical part of the man, creates the somatic connection with symmetry of the body of the man from the left side of the brain to the right body of the man. But the fields of the emotion are as fields. They have no physical, some of it might go through the neurosystem, but they create the dimension of the motion in interaction with the neurosystem current, and what we call the blood circulation current lead to the creation of the man physical dimension. So we create our physicality from interaction of the fields of the emotion, which has no physical connection, but it's a field which itself is connected to the cosmic rays as part of the process of the existence of the, what we call the body of the man. And this is where man, world of science, have not understood this. And this is where this psychosomatic comes, where this is where, as scientists, as doctors and the rest of it, are in dilemma. They talk about, but they don't understand that, in fact, the physicality of the man controls through the neurosystem, but the emotion of the man comes from the fields which has no connection. This is why when I touch you, you're angry, automatically every piece of body feels when you're touching something you like. When we taste the water, because we touch these fields, does not need any neurosystem confirmation. Instantaneous. This is why when you're thirsty, the minute you touch that water, the taste goes, the tongue, the thirst of the water goes, because you don't touch the nerve, the system to get water everywhere. You transfer the energy of the water through these fields to every cell of the body of the man. But the only biggest difference is that by accident, by conversion of the system, these two are connected to each other. These two have what I call affinity of connection with each other. And what happens? You have the fields that emotion transfers to the other side, and the fields of emotion directly, automatically you touch and you feel. And this emotion, when this, what we call the inner circle, I put it as a green, That makes it much easier if this inner circle between the two sides of the brain of the man are not in balance. When the fields are created on the right side, which comes from the information energy from the left side, don't match, you end up with what we call every other disease that the man might call a cancer, depression, and everything else. So you as knowledge seekers have to understand, when you come to point of the transmutation, you have to consider how your emotion brings you back to dimension of physicality. Because the interaction of the totality of this field itself, in interaction with the field of its environment, lead to the manifestation of your physical life, which is your head and your body. Then we even understand why we have different features, we gain different structure in the womb of the mother, because the soul of the man created in the center, interaction with the field of the environment of the mother, decides the shape of the body of the child, the manifestation, the structure of the soul, the structure of the what we call physicality of the brain and the soul of physicality. You torture the mother, you in the pregnancy, you change that field. And you don't end up with such a perfect soul, you don't end up with such a perfect body, because that emotion of the hurt to the mother transfers to the emotion of the child, in, as we call it, cosmic rays of the fields of the mother to the child, and you get default in the child, you get all sorts of problems after the child is born, because you touch this energy soul system. And this is why the children of Mitra, the children to be born understanding the work of the cosmic rays, directly at the point of birth connect to the universal community energies, which is pure and balanced, which means the emotion and physicality of the mother cannot touch. Child is a child of the emotion of the universe, not the child of the abuse of the father with the mother during the pregnancy, or the love of the father to the child. Then we understand, you as knowledge seekers, how you have to understand to control your manifestation in position of transmutation connected to the fields of the universe and to emotion of the what we call dimension of interaction of the fields of the physicality of the man with his environment. In so many ways, as we progress, as we come to understand more about our own life, we find out we are actually nothing but connected to the universal community, with not knowing how, in the position of the physicality of the man, as a brain of the man, and the physical body of the man, where, in fact, our souls and the interaction of the field of the emotion and connection between the two leads as a field matter in a way to the dimension of the neurosystem of the man, which leads to the manifestation of the man and everything else which goes within the man. Where neurosystem brings in the manifestation of the connection of physicality, and the emotion brings the field dimension, which allows that manifestation of the matter state to manifest itself in a Gansa state, not in the matter state, the physicality of the man. And then it comes the interaction of the field of the environment, which is the womb of the mother. Because the egg came from this mother, so it has direct connection with. But when you bring in the child from the soul of the mother and the soul of the father, in that way, the child born to this emotion has no interaction as such with the environment because it comes from the soul of the universe. It comes through carbon 14. It comes through the connection of the manifestation of the existence. If we understand this will revolutionize the world of the medicine of today. And this will change everything as we know. And secondly, further on, this will change the position of the transmutation for every one of you to know how to connect your emotion with the emotion of the soul and the dimension of point of manifestation. When you manifest yourself on the moon, then you decide, I want physicality through the emotion of the joy of the physicality you had on earth. You'll manifest yourself through that joy of emotion. You create a field that, with the interaction of the field of the moon, will lead to manifestation of you as a new creature which can survive on the moon in different shape and color. As I said, you don't want to go to the moon and live in a monkey suit. What a waste of time. Having the freedom of this planet to be caged in the cloth of a monkey. We haven't conquered. We'll never conquer the space if we rely on a manifestation of the monkey suit of the man. What happens when you land on a planet and the essence of the strength of the field of the cloth you wear to protect yourself as a monkey suit is in parallel and equal as the field of the environment. The clothes goes, what's going to happen to the physicality of the man? You die. Unless you manifest, you bring the change in the expansion of the soul of the man through connection with the universal rays and fields to manifest yourself in the time, place, and position. Maybe the creatures from another position in the universe on this planet are green and blue and 4 legs. And the man who came from the space of the atmosphere of the earth in this environment have 6 eyes and 2 legs. And when they cross each other, say, oh, this is from earth. It's got 2 eyes, and 4 arms or 6 legs. And these are from another planet. We recognize ourselves the way we call you're Chinese, you're Indian, or whatever, by the shape of manifestation of our soul with the environment of the manifestation where we come from. Then you know the citizens of the earth who are on that planet. And then we become the true man of space. We actually join the universal community and not in the space and time which we have imprisoned ourselves to this planet. Now you understand how the extension of how you as knowledge seekers will come to, in a way, exist and manifest yourself in the space, in transmutation. In one room, you create a magnetic field of the having your blue eyes and green hair. In the room next door, you create a condition of having green eyes and blue skin. You go from one room to another and you manifest yourself as a different creature. But the wife knows because, oh, this is the guy. I know him. He was in the other room and this is the way it is. So if we realize the fundamental, the principle about the world of creation, where the reason why we have 2 split part of our brain with the emotions in 2 separate part of the brain, each one individually mapped out. And then now we understand that the emotion creates the field and the physicality neurosystem brings in the somatic side. Then you understand how illnesses are created, how transmutation has to be done, how we're changing the emotion in the right way, balancing between the 2 half of the brain. We can change our height, we can change the color of our hair, we can do whatever we need. And this is part of the process of what we're going through in the teachings on a monthly basis. So it's not that I want to move, I create the emotion of moving. Then I can transmute. It's not that in there, I want to go to the moon. No, I create the condition of the emotion of the joy of being on the moon, and I'll be on the moon. And then I give myself a physicality because I transfer the joy, the physicality will transfer through. In the session of June of Keshe Foundation work, we're coming to the process of transmutation. And the knowledge seekers who are with us have to learn, instead of wanting to go, you have the creation of the emotion to be. This is what I said years ago with the Italian couple sitting in front row of the teaching of the, what we call in Balletta, and we said to move the cup, and the guy was pushing his eyes and arms. I said, this doesn't work. You're still stuck in the matter of physicality. You have to give the joy to the cup. I'll enjoy to see you moving for my pleasure. The cup will move. Even if you understood that even a cup has a soul, the physical structure of every atom is a dynamic field that the collective, what we call structure, has made shape of the, what we call the whole understanding of the creation. If you understand this, how we can change, we can bring about the condition of manifestation, the condition of transmutation through the emotion. Now that you understand the process, and if the balance is not there between the emotion and the physicality and the emotion of the left and the right side of the man, you'll be born, or you'll be manifesting with one leg missing, because it did not happen. And we see this balance of the creation of the organs out of the fields of the emotion of wanting the organ in the zebra fish leads it to manifest any organ that it loses. You take the heart out, it builds his heart. You take his leg out, it builds his leg. Reptiles do it outside, zebrafish does it inside. Because it has brought balance in the emotional totality of his existence on both sides of the brain. And the connection to nervous system does not need to have a heart. You take the heart because the field is created in that position with the interaction of the emotion of wanting to live, lead to the creation of the heart, which connects to everything else. And if, as knowledge seekers, we understand this, if as knowledge seekers we follow this through, we'll find out that soon we become part of the universal community by our own choice and not by a system. We give you the runway. It's you who has to put the plane on it to take off, and be a captain to know how to take that plane off that runway. What I show, what is on the screen and explain, if you as knowledge seekers and the world of science understands, the whole world of medicine will change. Because up to now we didn't understand that fields of the emotion creates. Have you ever touched somebody touch your toe and you feel it immediately in the whole of your body? How come? Neural system or matter state in a conductive environment. How come you suddenly instantaneously feel it? This is because of the line of the emotion on this planet, line of emotion sitting on this instantaneous connection. And then this brings a new understanding, not only into the world of medicine, but in the world of the transmutation, transportation, and the life of them. Then you understand in a bigger picture how once this soul, this dimension, what we call in the soul of the man, comes to balance with another one, you create trinity. Because it's in balance with itself. It has kept the integrity of the physicality. Age will never come to the man. Physicality changes shape, but the age of the soul still will be as the day he was born. You can move from one physicality to other. That's the secret of everlasting life. Not everlasting in the dimension of physicality, everlasting in the dimension of the soul of the man, which you can go from one physicality to the other because you control the soul. This is the true everlasting life. This is the true fountain of youth, because the physicality changes. Just because the clothes you wear has got old, do you throw and finish the physical body which wears the clothes, or you just change and buy a new clothes? And this is how you live in a space for thousands of years, millions of years, the time of the man, because million years in time of man is nothing in the world of the creation. And then once you travel and live in that dimension, you come to realize. Then you understand how the world of creation works. How everything and anything comes from a simple motion division of one plasma unit. You call it the fundamental plasma, which in balance with this environment, giving to live, split itself into two. That not only I live, but I live to live within the environment which I live. That's what hydrogen is. And living to live with the environment which is in it, in interacting with the elements of it, creates water, which is the essence of the life, essence of giving. Why do you have H2O and from it create life? In truth, is H2O is the same two part of the sections of the brain of the man, which are in harmony and interaction with the oxygen, with gravitational field, allows absorption of the fields to the others and creates from an atom in a molecule and then the oceans and the universes. And then you need only one hydrogen to create every element of the universe through the emotion, dimension of the emotion, interaction of the fields of the emotion with each other. You can give it any physicality, which that interaction of the fields to sustain the soul and its interaction with this environment creates the emotion and reaction of the field of the soul with the environment. Then it gives you the process of the manifestation through the emotion. So instead of you having a soul of physicality to manifest yourself with the presence of the plasma of the soul, now the environment becomes the soul of physicality. And the soul of the man in interaction gives you the emotion to decide how you will like to manifest yourself at a point of position as what we call the transmutation. You transfer the whole energy, the whole life of the man into one cell, you call it the plasma, to one neutron. And that neutron, in arriving in a new position, interacting with the field of his environment, it divides itself, which the interaction of leaves what we call the gap space, the emotion of the man. And then you manifest yourself, and then you multiple. You need only one atom of hydrogen, you need only one neutron, the fundamental element, the fundamental plasma, to create a universe. This is how the creator created universe, from one plasma, from interaction of the field within one. has created the universe. And this is what you can do. This is the knowledge you carry from today, but you understand you can only create the manifestation if you add the fields of what we call the emotion. Again, I'll go back. From the first teachings in the medical side, I kept on saying the emotion in the layers. Now you understand how you, as what we call knowledge seekers, being equipped, understanding this knowledge, should be able, there should be no problem. And all of you should be able to transmute at the flip of a finger. And I keep on saying, it's the emotion. You have to understand the game, the emotion is a dynamic field, has no connection to no physicality. It's a representation of the energy center of the man and the interaction of it with the energy center of the environment. That emotion leads into interaction between the two to physical manifestation of the man. In a way, if we look at it, the soul of the man becomes the left side of the brain, and the soul of the environment becomes the right side, and the emotion in between two gives you the physicality of the manifestation at the point, the time, and the place. And if you, as knowledge seeker, ever understand this principle, if the world of science understand this, man will have no time to live everlasting life. Man has no problem to live the fountain of youth from the establishment of the soul of the man to the time when he feels, I have served the Creator, I gathered enough to confirm the existence of the beauty of his creation, then I move on. You never need to die. Be it a helicopter crash, be it putting on the cross, be it any other condition. Life is precious, but if and if only exists in the dimension of the soul, in the dimension of interaction of the soul and the emotion of the emotion created by the interaction of the field of that soul with its environment. Then you can live anywhere. All you need, you move the soul till you find a time and place and position. One day a shepherd, another day, another thing, hundreds of years later, another thing, because 1,000 years in the life of the space and the universe for the soul is a flip of a finger, but the man, ooh, is 1,000 years, 2,000 years. Then you understand how man has gripped itself with the fallacy of time, which doesn't actually exist in the dimension of the creation, because time starts from the position where the interaction of the emotion with dimension of field of the environment leads to startup of a new combination of field works we call the life. As we say, whenever you catch a fish, it's always fresh. Because the separation of the life of the fish in the water and outside is in your hand. The zero time ends in the water and the zero time starts in your hand. You put that fish in a tank you allow it to live. You put that fish in a pot and you cook it. Now you are the decider of that soul. And that fish is your physicality. That fish is your emotion that decides which way to go. An end or a start, a beginning of a new life in a new environment. The interaction of the fields of the emotion. with the current flow of the what we call physical dimension of the man leads to the creation of the physicality of the man. And that's why when we see certain shapes, certain figures, certain colors, certain shape of the body, we say this is their behavior. Because that behavior is created out of the emotion, and that emotion has created this physicality, which shows everyone with this dimension of emotion has such a physicality. Not this physicality has that behavior. Because it's the emotion which created the fields of the emotion is the reason for the creation of this physicality. And once we understand this, once the world of science understands this, you can cure any disease, you can transmute anywhere, and you can manifest yourself in any shape, color, size, or race, or animal shape, or a stone, anywhere in the universe, and not just only on this. This is why when we put you in the systems and lens, some of you became a fish, you became a mermaid and everything else, because the soul, the emotion, the joy brought you into where you wanted to be, and you manifest yourself and you saw yourself in that position, time and place. That's why I said, we never tell you you're wrong because you made the journey. It's the emotion of you who has created that physicality because you always wanted to be a mermaid. And this is where, as knowledge seekers, you have to start understanding this, that, as always said, by controlling the emotion, you will create, manifest, transmute, transfer, and everything within yourself. And if you go to another step to understanding, to find the matching fields of your emotions with another soul, we call it twin souls, then you don't need to talk because you live one life in totality. You become like a molecule than two individual atoms. And then life is a different meaning. So you understand, all this needs a feeding system, needs a feeding energy, which as a soul, as an emotion, does not eat food, but connects to universal fields and the, what we call carbon-14, or field of the cosmic rays, the rays of cosmic rays, and in connection and due to its interaction by the level of the fields which is created in the physical brain of the man, has a limitation and a strength for every dimension, which that dimension, that strength create joy, happiness. With joy, your skin goes hair top. With your anger, your skin shivers, and the sweat comes from every cell body of the man instantaneously, because it's this field which has created it, not the neural system of the man. Feel the emotion. The body still produces that 60 heartbeats and pressure, whatever, and salinity of whatsoever, and the sugar of whatsoever. The change in the strength of this field of the emotion changes the manifestation of the skin. And now you understand, you call it the psychosomatic, this disease, touching you, the joy, the anger, and the fear, and the laughter is another psychosomatic, but this time it's you who decides what's going to be to me, and it's me how I decide to manifest the emotion in the dimension of physicality. The sooner you knowledge seekers understand this, that you control the soul through the fields, through the emotion, then transmutation for you become a child play. And as long as you're trying to get yourself this physicality, everything with you on a backpack, try again and again. In the trials of last week with the knowledge seekers on a monthly basis, we could clearly see this. And how one knowledge seekers can bring the rest of the knowledge seekers down. And change the position, because they are in the environment of the plasma of the system and they're all affect each other. Then you understand how most of you who've been in the sessions, how you have connected to every other soul in the shape or form, and you become part of the satellite, the structure of the system, which we run to test, to evolve, to teach you how to transmit. I hope from today's teaching will come understanding, and it will change the course of the history and the medicine of the man. And one day, scientists, when they open these teachings from today, will understand how far ahead the knowledge is, but the man needs to understand step by step that they can open up. And this is why 10 years ago, in the teachings of the what I call health teachings with another knowledge seekers, we kept on speaking about the emotion. Now you understand how important the emotion is in that dimension of the interaction of the fields of the man with its environment, of body of itself, which leads to its own manifestation. And then, if you step further, if you understand this in another level, you understand how you can change the genes, that you have no children with diseases to be born, because you elevate, you transfer, you create the dimension of the fields, which changes the plasma dimension of what you call the DNA and what you call whatever else, because they're all packets of energy. You bring it the balance, you bring it the emotion fields, that the fields of the structure find itself in a balance, and no child will be born handicapped, no child will be born with deficiencies, and no with defects. I hope you knowledge seekers understand this, because if you bring that deficiency in the soul of you in transmutation, it's you who will be born with those defects in the new environment which you started life with. So you have to understand this, that you through this never create a child with defects, because that child in the new environment is you. And you have to understand the totality of the emotion of the creation, the totality of the science of it, that how emotion in interaction in the field of the environment leads to the creation manifestation of the physicality of the entity. Listen to this teaching a number of times, and then try to understand. And then in the next sessions of transmutation, you will transmute in no time. And you don't need to ask yourself, did I go there? I saw such a thing. No, I went there, I did, because I decided. Now we gave this chance to our knowledge seekers, like, you leave it to you, you decide what you want to go, where you want to go. For you to understand your fears of handling your emotions, because the emotion is the manifestation. And those who have the fear of handling never go anywhere. I didn't go anywhere, nothing happened to me. And the others travel the span of the universe the way they. We go for a break, we come back. Hope as knowledge seekers you understand, and how things take shape through the emotion of them. Rick, if you would like to take us through, and we'll see.